Hello there and welcome to my YouTube channel. My name's James Harrington, and if you enjoy La Liga based content, then this is the place for you. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button, that notification bell, and why not give it a thumbs up. Today we're talking about the Madrid Derby on Matchday 26, and we're solely going to be focusing on that. But before we get into that, let's recap what happened on Matchday 25. So let's look at the La Liga table after Matchday 25. The big news at the top of the table is that Barcelona jump into second after their win versus 4th place Sevilla, meaning that Real Madrid dropped down to third after they could only draw with Real Sociedad. Real Betis move into the Europa League spot after recording a 1-0 victory over Cadiz. They are one of the in-form sides of 2021. Granada move into 8th after winning 2-1 versus Elche and capping off a memorable week for the club, who shocked Napoli and knocked them out of the Europa League. Osasuna moved to 12th with their 1-0 win versus strugglers Alaves. Getafe moved to 13th after a massive result for Bordalás, 3-0 versus Valencia, getting their first goal in 5 matches with a screamer from Aaron Barry. Finally, Real Valladolid picked up a draw versus Celta Vigo, meaning that Alaves dropped into the bottom 3. Let's quickly chat about those games I previewed in my last video. Eibar versus Huesca. It was a 1-1 draw and my prediction was correct. Sandro Ramirez giving the lead to Huesca with his 3rd goal of the season, only for Diop to level for Eibar 2 minutes later. This result doesn't do anything massive for either side, but it does mean between 16th and 20th only 2 points separate the teams in the relegation zone. It's an interesting battle at the moment and it probably will go down to the wire. Barcelona then put in their most dominant performance to date with a 2-0 win versus Sevilla. Ronald Koeman played a unique formation for Barcelona with 3 centre-backs and 2 wing-backs to pin the Sevilla full-backs of Escudero and Navas, nullifying any opportunity for an attack. The question I would like to ask is, has Koeman played his hand too early? Bearing in mind that today, when this has been recorded, they are due to play the second leg of the Copa del Rey. He's now given time for Lopetegui to adapt, and it should be an interesting fixture. The other matches that I previewed were both the Madrid games, but let's save them for now and really get into it when talking about the Madrid Derby. So in this episode, I only want to talk about the Madrid Derby, not because it's such a massive game historically in La Liga, but because there's such big implications on the La Liga title race and it affects all of the top 4 sides. So let's start with Atlético Madrid. Prior to Matchday 25, Diego Simeone's side were under immense pressure, having just lost to Chelsea in the Champions League where, let's be frank, Diego Simeone got it wrong. He went too defensive, was aiming for a 0-0 with the intention of the second leg getting that away goal to see Atletico through, and it backfired. Giroud got the goal and it was an all-round poor performance by Atletico. Also in the league, they played Levante twice, and in 6 points they only got 1. Now, we remember saying in previous videos they had so many opportunities, but they just couldn't find the back of the net. And that brought an end to their unbeaten streak, and also was their first defeat at home since 2019. So it was a disastrous week for Atletico. And another big thing going into this match, they hadn't kept a clean sheet in 8 games. That is so unlike Los Rojiblancos. They're normally so defensively sound, and Jan Oblak is a wall. However, they've been conceding in each of their last 8 fixtures. But then they played Villarreal and they got the win they needed, and it was a massive result. 2-0 thanks to a Pedraza own goal and a João Felix volley. Now, the João Felix goal is an interesting talking point, and I'm sure you've seen it. The shushing celebration he did when he scored, directed at the Atletico bench dugout where the managers and players are, and the aggressive shout and roar that he let off afterwards. Now, what he said was quite expletive, and I will not repeat it on this channel, but it left many questions, and it was bound to be on the front page of all the major Spanish newspapers. After the game, Diego Simeone quelled any suggestion that it was problems between him and João, saying he likes that it's the fire, it's rebellious, and that he wants to see more of that from his players. And then 24 hours later, Renan Lodi, his teammate, has come out and said it was actually directed at him. It was after he bantered João Felix for not having scored in a while. So whilst it was probably made a splash in the newspapers, it actually isn't a sign of how unhappy João Felix is, supposedly. In this game against Villarreal, it must be said that Villarreal weren't too bad actually. They did put in a good display. They were just, I feel like saying unlucky is too simplistic. They really did dominate the game towards the back end, and it was unfortunate it was a Pau Torres mistake of all people, a player who I greatly admire this season, who unfortunately cleared the ball with his head. It was an awkward one into the path of João Felix at the second goal. Obviously Emery is now under pressure, but it was a massive, massive result for Atletico to retain their grip on that La Liga title. An interesting stat after this game was that Diego Simeone had matched Luis Aragones's winning record as Atletico manager. He equalled the 308 wins as manager, but he did it far quicker than Luis Aragones. Luis Aragones got 308 wins in 612 games, I believe, whereas Diego Simeone did it in 512. He's been a great appointment in the history of Atletico Madrid. So let's talk about Atletico Madrid preparing for this game against Real Madrid. Diego Simeone is bound to go for his trusty 3-5-2, always with Jan Oblak in goal, and either João Felix and Luis Suarez up top. He tends to mix and match the rest of the squad. But there's some interesting selection conundrums for Diego Simeone. Kieran Trippier is back after his 10-week suspension for betting. Now, prior to being suspended, Kieran Trippier was such an important player for Atletico Madrid with his crosses and his assists. Even with his 10-week suspension, he's still the third top assist provider at Los Rojiblancos with 5. And he also brings out the best in Marcos Llorente, allowing him to push forward and get the goals that Atletico Madrid need. Another wing-back who's back in contention is Yannick Carrasco. The Belgian has missed the last 3 games, and as well he had some real pace and width to the Atletico Madrid attack. A player I'm interested to see how they perform is Luis Suarez. From what I remember in the defeat early in the season where Atletico lost 2-0, in the match against Real Madrid, he was largely anonymous. Now, he hasn't scored since Matchday 22, where he got a brace against Celta Vigo. It seemed up to that point he was getting a goal with every shot he had on target. That being said, he still has a crucial role instructing the teams on how they play and creating space for his teammates. But Luis Suarez should be really up for this fixture. The next 5 games for Atletico aren't easy. 2 of them in particular, the second leg against Chelsea in the Champions League, and also they play Sevilla in the league. So they'll be really keen to get a good result against Real Madrid to cement their place at the top spot. We now talk about the opponents, Real Madrid. Now going into this game on Matchday 25 versus Real Sociedad, they come off the back of an impressive 1-0 away win to Atalanta in the Champions League. It was impressive because the side were ravaged by injuries, meaning they had to adopt a false 9 with Isco up top, and they didn't really have plentiful options on the bench. Fortunately for them, Mendy got the winner in around the 86th minute, correct me if I'm wrong, but it was an impressive performance against what could have been slippery opposition. In La Liga as well, they had been unbeaten in the last 4 games, with impressive victories admittedly against lesser opposition, but it meant they closed that gap on Atletico Madrid, whose lead at the top of the table had evaporated from being 10 points to 5. They'd also welcome back some key players to give the squad some more depth. Odriozola was back, Marcelo, Rodrigo and Valverde, who all featured in the matchday squad against Atletico Madrid. Zinedine Zidane had hoped his team could build some momentum going into this fixture. They've just seen Barcelona win on Saturday against Sevilla with a dominant display. They then saw Atletico Madrid beat Villarreal on the Sunday and had to play Real Sociedad on the Monday night. Now they'd hoped for a win, but they didn't get it. It was a 1-1 draw. In the first half, Real Madrid were the dominant side. Mariano and Varane had good chance, but just couldn't get the ball in the back of the net, hitting the crossbar on Varane's occasion. Then in the second half, something changed. Zidane made a tactical tweak and it backfired, leading to Casemiro dropping deep to help out the defenders, creating space in the middle of the park, which Real Sociedad exploited. Nacho Monreal got the cross in to Porto, who's one of the shorter players of Real Sociedad, to get that bullet header and get Real Sociedad the lead. From then on, effectively Real Madrid were throwing the kitchen sink at Real Sociedad, ringing the change in the 60-something minute, bringing on 3 attackers, Hugo Duro, Rodrigo and Vinny Jr. And it was Vinny Jr. who saved the day, got them the draw, got the goal in the 89th minute. A man who's been criticised in the past for not scoring enough, on his 100th appearance, got Madrid out of a tight spot, and from then on they went searching for that victory, but it wasn't to be the case. After the game, Zinedine Zidane acknowledged the tactical mistake. He had hoped that the team had got more at the result. As he said, they were dominant in the first half, but it wasn't to be. This result meant that Real Madrid slipped to third and Barcelona moved into second. So how will Real Madrid line up in this match? Well, there's rumours and it's potential that Karim Benzema could be back for this match. The man who's got 12 La Liga goals, the man who Zinedine Zidane trusts, who performs in the big games, has been sorely missed. Mariano has featured in his absence, however he's only got 1 goal in La Liga this season, so they'll be desperate for Benzema to be fit for this game. Militao could also be fit and ready to feature against Atlético Madrid. He just gives them that defensive option, but I still think Zinedine Zidane will go with the pairing of Nacho and Varane. And also Eden Hazard is rumoured to be ready to feature against Atlético Madrid. Now this poses some interesting questions about Marcus Asensio. Now Marcus Asensio has been filling in. He's starting in 11 of the last 12 matches. Someone who has a lot of potential. Someone who they predict to be a Ballon d'Or winner. Someone who they'd hope fill the boots of Cristiano Ronaldo. However, this season, and admittedly he's coming off the back of long-term injuries, he's only got 2 goals and 2 assists. So he hasn't hit the dizzy heights that Los Blancos fans would have hoped. With all that being said though, you're eager to hear my prediction. What do I think it's going to be? Both sides have equally as good as home form as away form. I think it's going to be a really ferocious game. Just seeing how Diego Simeone galvanised his squad against Villarreal and how much this is important for Real Madrid to close that gap on Atletico. I'm expecting there to be goals, and I think it's going to be 2-1 Atletico Madrid. I think Atletico Madrid are going to come out on top in this game. Comment below your predictions. I'll be interested to see them. Well, that's it. That's my La Liga preview for Matchday 26, the Madrid Derby. Of course, there's other games happening this weekend, but everyone who's a La Liga fan will be watching this fixture. If you did enjoy the video, hit that subscribe button, that notification bell, give it a thumbs up, and comment below your predictions. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.